Hello everyone and good morning. This is Lynn and this is the Sunshine and Bubblegum podcast. This is episode 16 and I am coming to you from sunny but chilly Louisiana. I live just right outside of New Orleans. This is a knitting, sewing, crocheting, crafty podcast. And thank you so much for joining me. I have an awesome episode planned, or I think it's an awesome episode, and I hope you all enjoy it. I'm hoping that I can get the light. Is that a little better? Okay, the light's usually the best in this room, although it's the boring closet door background. In the mornings, this is the room with the best light. So welcome all. I have a little bit better setup today, kind of a new to me setup here. Old phone that I'm recording on, but a new tripod. Yay! So it's not as precarious as it used to be. Not that you guys ever saw that, but it was stacked on top of like 2 suitcases and a book, and so now I'm getting professional, everybody. I'm getting professional. Still, I have gotten my new laptop, but I have not figured out an editing software yet, so what you see here may be raw, uncut. No extra special things on the screen or music yet. So once I figure that out, you'll know, because there'll be an intro and it'll be fantastic. But right now, it's just me and just what I'm up to. So I hope you don't mind, but I hope the video is a little bit clearer than it was last time. I do apologize for that. And again, welcome. If you are a new viewer, hello. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much. We do have a giveaway today for the 300 subscribers that we hit here on YouTube. So I'm going to do that right off the top here. And you can find me on I guess most of the social medias. I am Sunshine Bubblegum on Instagram and Ravelry, Sunshine and Bubblegum on Facebook and my Etsy store. All of this will all be in the down bar here on the YouTube channel, and also we have a Ravelry group, the Sunshine and Bubblegum podcast on Ravelry, and all of my show notes are there. Any cals that we are doing are there, and any questions and good stuff and chatter and all that stuff is over there. So if you ever need to find me, those are the places, and again, it'll all be linked down below. I will also have everything linked below and on Ravelry for all of the patterns and yarn and goodie stuff that I'm going to show today. So let's jump right into it. Let's do the giveaway first. I hit 300 subscribers here on YouTube. Yay! Oh my goodness, I couldn't believe it. And I hit 500 subscribers on my Instagram. So that was strictly on Instagram, already done. Congratulations to our winner. And here I'm going to give away today. I closed the thread last night. I have a winner for 300 subscribers. So the base prize, because I'm going to put a few other goodies in with this, was a Fezza yarn and the Festival colorway. And I hope it comes a little truer to life today. Ooh. Got a little cloud there behind the sun. But it is very cheerful. As you can see, super sparkly. It's in their Festival colorway, and it has green, purple, and yellow, which remind me of Mardi Gras, and there's also some reds and whites in there. So there's 2 balls of this. They're both 50 grams, and I think they came out to be over 500 yards. They're 260 each, I believe. So this is going to the winner, and there will be some other secret goodies that I'll be sending you along with this. And where is my fancy draw a name mug? So thank you everyone who came over and answered my question about what do you like about my podcast, or just say hello, or what would you like to see more of. Everyone was super sweet, because that's the knitting community and you guys are awesome, so I so appreciate all of your kind words. I enjoyed reading all of them, and I tried to answer every single one of you back. I'm really excited to keep going. I'm not super close to my podiversary. I think that'll be in the summer, but hopefully we'll do another big giveaway then too. And I can thank you all so much. So I have a name. I was shuffling as we talked. Let's see who our name is. And it is Kelly M. Knitter, who is Kelly on Ravelry. So Kelly, you are the winner! Yay! So please send me a private message on Ravelry or Instagram and get me your address, and I will get your prize right out to you this week and send you some more goodies. So Kelly, thank you so much. All of you, thank you so much. And let's get into some knitting and crafting. Oh, I dropped you on the floor, Kelly. I'm sorry. Okay. So, I have no finished objects, but I have a half object today. I'm also still trying to think of some fun names for my segments, you know. So far I've only got one for crochet, but I'll get that, I'll tell you that when I get to my crochet. So my half object is my finished sock. This is just a shorty sock, a vanilla sock with a 1x1 rib cuff. I did 20 rows on the cuff, and I did the super stretchy bind off. That's a tutorial on YouTube on Very Pink Knits. I love all of her tutorials. She has one for almost every stitch, cast on, bind off that you can think of. She does have some that go along with patterns. If you buy some of her patterns, she has a lot of tutorials that go along with all of those. That would be a paid for thing, but almost everything else is free. She does walk you through making a sock. So if anyone is interested, that's how I knit my first sock, was just watching her basic instructions and going from there. And I use her a lot. So that's her bind off. It is very, very stretchy. I did the Fish Lips Kiss Heel. I had started toe up. I cast on 12 stitches with Judy's toe up cast on. And the toe increases I followed are the same from the Hermione's Everyday Sock by Erica Lauder. I enjoyed that fit so far. I think I may try more of a rounded toe on my next one because I do have a very wide foot. But I did like that fit so far, so that's what I did again as far as the increases. And I just reversed it. So where you would decrease, I just increased. In the beginning, it's every other row you increase, and then you knit a row, and then you increase, and then as you get a little bit closer here, you do 2 rows of knit between an increase round till you get to your stitches. So this is 60 stitches. The yarn is Unplanned Peacock, and that's more true to life right there. Bright, bright blues. It is in the Glacier colorway, and as you can see, I have left my I put a safety line in. Can't use, oh, I'll get there. I'm trying to use my words. Too far away. Okay. I put in a safety line in case my heel was in the wrong place because I was a little nervous about putting the heel in going toe up. My mom's socks, I put it in going down and my mom could try it on, and then I did the toe when we got to the right point. So the heel, it was a little different. I did do the cutout that goes with the Fish Lips Kiss Heel. It's all explained in the pattern, and that's a $1 pattern on Ravelry, and it's awesome. I like the fit, and it's very easy to do. What else was I going to say? But yes, so that I left that in, and that's actually going to be part of my guide when I'm doing the other sock as to where to put the heel in. I did like where it went. It may be a row or two too long, but I think that's okay, seeing as how most of my other socks were a little tight. Where the first pair was tight, I wanted to show it to you, but I'll show it to you next time, was tight on the length of the foot. I did it too short on my first pair. So I think this is okay. I did 60 stitches, and it's got a really snug fit, so I think 60 may be my magic number here. I still have to wash and block these, but I didn't want to do that until I finished the other one, so I will report back when that's done and see how they fit after they've been washed. I probably won't block them though, because I found that stretched them out a lot, so I'll just wash them. And it is a superwash merino. I have the tag right here. Superwash merino and nylon, and it is Unplanned Peacock. And again, that's in their Glacier colorway. So that's my half object, and to go with that half object, I have the other sock. I cast it on. I knew I would. This yarn makes me so happy. It makes me think of the ocean and all the blues, and I am enjoying the little purple blips. Now the first sock I did on my size 1 needles, and I'm using size 1 again. I used magic loop on a 40-inch cord, and they were just my Knitter's Pride Platinums. Then I started the second one on the same needles, and last night I decided I was dying to try the little 9-inch circulars that I got forever ago. So I put them on. Look at it, they're so tiny. They're so tiny. These are a size 1. I left the package in the other room. I'll put below what company they're from. But they are a wooden needle. They may be Knitter's Pride. They're like a blonde yellow wood. I think they're showing up okay. And it's a 1.25 millimeter. So I've only done the toe, and I've done a few rows into the sock, and I know that knitting on the 9-inch may change my gauge a little bit, but I'm interested to see how it will change. I don't think it's going to be dramatic enough that I'm going to hate the sock. I wouldn't think that would happen. But I'll just pay attention. I'll do a few more rows and see if it's sucking it in a lot. So I've only done 3 rounds. I don't mind the hold at all. I don't mind the hold. I totally understand that it's gonna, you could really go fast on these. Right now, I have a lot of drag. They're super sticky. See, I can't even pull, I could barely pull the stitches right off the needle, which is great for throwing it in your bag. Not so great when you're trying to knit in the round. So I know that with couple of the other longer circular needles that I use for the magic loop, the first beginning of the sock when I had first taken them out of the package, they did have a bit of a drag and almost like a stick to them, like the cord needed to soften up. So I'm going to give this, a little bit more time to loosen up, and then if they really are still just draggy, I might try and order a pair of metal needles and see if those make any difference, because it is kind of fun. I haven't done it long enough to know if it's going to cause me pain or cramps, or I didn't have any problem with my hands. The only trick I had was, as you're knitting, I'm assuming you just kind of shift, like you keep shifting with your left hand and pushing with your right hand, so the stitches keep going around, and it's so sticky and draggy that that's not quite happening easily yet. So I'm still going to work on these. Hopefully that cord and needle loosen up a little bit, and we'll keep going with that. But that's been fun. I was dying to try it. I'm glad I did. I do enjoy it. It's really funny what you think you might not like, or you listen to other people and it's 50-50. Some people love it, some people hate it, and you build up silly things in your mind like, oh, this is going to be so hard, or this is going to be so, a lot of work, or all this, and they're not. And I'm glad to be breaking down, at least for myself, some of those little, what are we afraid of? Right? Like, what are we afraid of? A toe-up sock? That was nothing to be afraid of. And I don't even know if it's a fear. It's just maybe an insecurity of, what if I couldn't do it? What if I don't like it? You don't want to spend money on something that maybe you're not going to enjoy. Well, if I don't enjoy them, I know a lot of other knitters that might like to try them, and I can gift them to somebody else. So I'm not going to be, right? This is the year of not being afraid and not being insecure in our knitting and projects anymore. So, okay, so speaking of branching out, I have another cast on, which was on my bucket list for this year, and it is the shawl for my mother-in-law. Yay! Let me turn on, hold on one second, turning on my iPad because I want to show you the pattern. But, I've got the yarn. Oh my goodness, we're hooked on everything. You stay down there. Okay, so I have ordered and received some new circular needles in the size 5 for this shawl. The shawl is the, oh, how did I not bring that one up? Okay, the shawl is the Show Me Your shawl from the unapologetic knitter, who is Megan Schmaltz. And this pattern was designed specifically for the yarn that I bought. And I bought it to do this, you know, as to do this shawl. I found the colorway a while ago, and then as I was drooling over it, the pattern was released. This is a couple years ago, and so I've had it, and I just bought the pattern, and it's here, and I started it. So let me show you the yarn. This is by Kiwipop Studios. The dyer is Judy, and she is out of Maine. She hand paints all of her yarns, and she is on Instagram, Ravelry, Facebook, and she has her own website, kiwipopstudio.com. And she has on her Instagram, she often shows how she paints or yarns that have been painted, and it's really, really neat to see because it's not done in the pot at all. She does it, she lays out the yarn and actually hand paints it all. So this is the yarn that I fell in love with, and this is Roses at Sunset. Unfortunately, this is one of her discontinued colorways, but on a good note, she has another colorway out, which is another very variegated colorway, because this is really variegated if you didn't just see. And it's called Sprung Spring, and that has blue, green, lavender, burgundy, and an orange. That's on her website right now. It comes on a lot of different bases that she carries, and it is also a very bright, cheerful, variegated colorway. So it's similar, but again, in variegation, a lot of the colors are different. It's got more green in it, you know, and doesn't have the yellow. This has a yellow in it, but super duper pretty. If you're interested in something similar, if you like how you see this coming up, that might be a good option. And, oh, that's what I wanted to show you. I have, oh, let me see if I can get it. Oh, all right. This is how her Sprung Spring knits up in a sock. So that's the other colorway. That's the other colorway that's similar to this. So anyway, getting back to my project. This shawl is a 2-color shawl. That was my first color, was Roses at Sunset. This is the Vermillion, which is the coordinating color. So I have a full skein of this, half skein of this, and that's how I ordered it. The yarn is a 60% superwash merino, 30% bamboo, and 10% nylon. And I believe this is on her sock base. And this very same with her Vermillion there. So those are the tags there. So it's got a bamboo, it's got a different feel to it, and I'm going to be really curious to see how this blocks and feels after it washes. I probably should have swatched, and I might be, you know, kicking myself in the butt and going back and whatever. But let me show you what I have. Oh, that was good, Lynn. We're the same color as the yarn you're showing. So you start off, and it is a garter tab cast on, which I didn't know was one of the harder ways to start a shawl. I just jumped right in. The first round did defeat me. It was a little confusing. I started picking up stitches on the wrong side, so I had a very weird bumps across the top. So I frogged that, and then I, hi Sable, coming to say hello. And then I, yes, and then I, yeah? And then what happened? Yeah? And the boys are at school? Timmy's in the well! No, that's not what you were saying. Okay, no, please don't get in the window. You, go ahead. Go in the other window. No. No. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. She would play the I'm climbing through the middle of the blinds game. Anyway, so, okay, so garter tab cast on, and that is the start of my little shawl. And then you start bringing in the second color here, and I don't know if you can see, it's just a little tiny bit, but the next chunk is all of this magic, so I'm super excited to get into that. The pattern overall is pretty easy, mostly stockinette, been so far, and a little bit of a garter and a tiny bit of lace section here, eyelets. But I'm really excited to see this. I'm excited to see this work up. So next time I hopefully will have a big chunk of that worked up for you so you can see all the colors, and it is so cheerful. My favorite color, I don't know if you're going to be able to see, is this little tiny blip of lavender right there. Bloop. I definitely am a purple. Purples and blues are my favorite if anyone hasn't noticed yet. But, so this is my very first shawl, and I don't think they'll fit on these needles. How about these needles, huh? These were 25 cents from a secondhand store. Susan Bates. Boom, number 5. I have had these forever. When I very, very first started knitting, someone suggested, no, don't go out and buy a bunch of needles. Just go to the secondhand store. They usually have some. And they did. They had a whole bin full of them, and I got, I think, like 1 through 10. I didn't know. And I still have them. So they're great, especially when you don't have, you know, I didn't, at the time when I started this, I didn't have my big circular set needles yet. They hadn't come in, and I wanted to cast it on, so I did. That's all I have to say about that. So that's my shawl. I'm very excited, and I hopefully will have this done for Mother's Day. I would like to be able to give this. This is going to my mother-in-law, so. Hello, everybody. A little up close and in person. So I hope that will be done. The next thing will be my clever crochet title will be The Happy Hooker. And that is actually from my grandmother, my stepdad's mom. She is a rug hooker, and back in the day, she did a lot. She wrote books, she taught classes. The rugs that she has done are artwork. They hang on the wall. There aren't many of them that were ever actually used on the floor. They are seat cushions. They're gorgeous. There is one that's it's an oval, and it's all flowers, and it's beautiful. If I can get someone to take a picture of it, I will. But that was at every single one of my siblings' weddings and my parents' wedding, and we all brought it up and stood on it on the altar. So it's one of those things that's been, it's been to New Hampshire, it's been to Massachusetts, it has been to Hawaii, it has been, who else got married? It's been to Rockport. So it's been at everybody's wedding, and it's such a special thing, and it's gorgeous. So she and her group of ladies were known as the Happy Hookers, and it was kind of a little tongue-in-cheek joke. So I kept it. My sister and I used it as our Ravelry name back in the day, and she has it now. I broke off to be Sunshine and Bubblegum. But so my crochet segments will be the Happy Hooker. And what is going on? My little sister Lily and I have been in talks on patterns for her blanket. I had been working and trying to work on that beautiful scalloped pattern that I had showed before, that was taken from Una's pattern, and that is on, I'll keep that link below if you want to see it. We frogged it, so it's not here to show you. But I've showed it in the past. It was a beautiful scalloped fan that overlapped, and it was really pretty, but it was very complicated and very lacy, and it was getting really hard, and I was only on row 2, and I couldn't get the counts right. So we talked, and we're going to do a different pattern. So I did a whole bunch of swatches up for her and let her pick what she wanted to do. We did know that we were going to keep the blanket in the mango colorway, that she wanted that corally peach. So we're going to do that, and what we've decided on is the Annie blanket. Woo, by Little Doolally. And she is on, let me see if I can. She is on, well, that's not any better. It's really pretty. This one that she's done here is mostly white with lots of different stripes of colors in between. She is on Etsy, Ravelry. This is a paid-for pattern. She has lots of different blankets and pillows and really sweet designs. This is originally a baby blanket size, but she has so many pictures and instructions in here. This is a great pattern, very well written, very well photographed, and she tells you how to make it bigger if you want to increase the size from what she's done here. So what we've done is I've reversed it. This is going to be, the main color will be the corally mango color, and then in between we're going to do an ivory strip. So if you're going to do a, if you'd like to do one of these, this would be great for a stash buster for minis, because you could do a solid color. You could do a cream, a white, a neutral, or a navy. You could do anything. You could do a solid color for the larger stitches, and then in between you could run your minis, or you could run just rainbows. You could do, you know, it's very, very easily changeable pattern to suit a colorway or theme that you're trying to match. So I don't want to talk about too much about the different stitches. It's a simple pattern. It does involve half single crochet and double crochet. So it's quick. It's mindless. It would be this is going to be great for watching TV or watching Netflix and just hooking. The base, I'm going to do a little bit different start than she has in here, and I'm going to do the chainless foundation cast on when I do, and I think I'm going to actually do that in the ivory, so that I'm going to outline the whole blanket in ivory when it's done. This is going to be a big blanket. It's going to be 4x6. I have to get a bigger ball of ivory, and then I can get going. I have the mango, and I had a little bit of ivory that we were testing colors with, so... and this is in Hobby Lobby's I Love This Yarn in the mango and the ivory colorway. I am using, I think it's Susan Bates. They're just a size I hook, and I couldn't tell you the number associated with it because I just have a little a gripper on it. It's like almost like a pencil grip. I got that at Joann's. Just for, I have it on my H and my I hook because those are the two I use the most, and it, you know, just... it's helpful, ergonomic, I think is the word. So this is my swatch, and hopefully next time I will have more to show you on the actual big blanket itself. And I would like to do, hopefully, a little tutorial that I can film ahead of time and piece in of the cast on, the chainless foundation cast on. I'd like to show that to you guys. So there are a lot of tutorials on YouTube though, if you want to find out about that before. I do like the Moogly blog. She's got one, but if you just go on YouTube and put in chainless foundation crochet, it'll pop up. There'll be lots to pop up. And you can do that stitch as a single crochet, a double crochet, half double crochet. It's very easy to work it for different patterns. So this is coming up, and I do have a few other gift knits that will be coming up. Again, gift crochet, got gift knits, but gift crochet items. So hopefully I'll have some more different things to show you there. I have some hats, so we're going to do a lovey, and possibly, oh, another blanket for my nephew. My sister's having a little boy, so I got another baby blanket coming up, and that pattern I have already picked in yarn colors. We've picked out the basics for that, so I can show you all of that. That is a free pattern, so I can talk to you all about that one, so that should be fun. And that's what I have for crochet today. So I have a couple little tiny acquisitions, and they are tiny. One was a purchase, one was a gift. I got a pair of Chiaogoo needles, and of course the sticker is right in the middle. But I polled my knitting friends and my knitting community, and although many needles came back, as most of you know when you're watching a knitting podcast, everyone has a favorite needles. These might differ from what they're working on. They might like a different brand for shawls versus socks versus sets, interchangeables. So, but the most votes were for the Chiaogoos, so I got a pair of size 5, which is the 3.75 millimeter, and I got a 40-inch cord, which is a 100 centimeter cord, and it is the stainless steel lace. I didn't hear that if you get the regular, it has a bend at the connector, which I'm assuming, I don't know if it's supposed to be for ergonomics or if it's to help things not slide off, but a lot of people didn't like that. So I just got the straights, and this will be going on to my shawl. I'm so excited. I have like real grown-up, I feel like these are like real grown-up needles. Woohoo! They didn't cost me 25 cents. They weren't that expensive. They were $10. Which I think when you're sitting at if you're at the store and you've got all your yarn picked out and you're like, oh, I need needles too, and then you're like, oh, another $10. But when you already have the yarn and everything, you're like, oh, it's only $10. A different mindset. So, yes, so I have my needles. So those will be going with my shawl, and I'll probably switch those over when I get working on those next. So. The other thing was I won a giveaway on Instagram, and this is from the Cabin Fiber Company. They are on Etsy. They are out of California, and I saw them first on the Lucky Jenny Knits podcast. Jenny and Becky, I believe, were swap partners, and so Jenny had received some stitch markers to try out before the Etsy shop opened, and they just opened in March. So congratulations, and I was the lucky winner, and she let me pick 2 different stitch markers to try out. So what I've picked out was these beautiful seashells, and they are on the regular circle stitch marker type markers, and I hope they're focusing. They're tiny little seashells, and they're adorable. And of course, Ocean, Lynn, yeah, done. These are the ones that Jenny showed, and I fell in love with them. And then she had another set, which were, and these particular ones go up to a size, US size 8 or 5 millimeter, but they did have another set that was for your larger needles. So then I got a second set, and I've already busted into these. These are turquoise. Okay, they're not as dark as that, but these are turquoise, and they're on a square, they're on a square. I don't have, what else are you going to say? And these fit up to a US size 10. So I have these on my shawl right now. Let me see if I can show you those. And I don't really mind them when I'm knitting. When I go to slip them, the square is a little weird, but I do enjoy the little pop of turquoise on there. I think these squares, just because I'm only using a size 5 and these go up to a 10, I think these would actually work better on a larger size needle. So I may switch them out for the shells just to try it out, because the shells are an actual smaller circumference than the squares. But I do love them, and I do like the pop of turquoise that is on my project. I kind of went with those because of these, because I thought these would get lost. Gone are the days when you'd have the plastic hooks that I have a bucket of for your stitch markers. Now you have to have something fancy. So I was so excited to win these. Thank you so very much. I am enjoying them, and I have a shawl to use and showcase them on, so that also makes me happy. So those are my big acquisitions for this week, and let's see. Oh, I have lots of podcast love. So I did shoot out some podcast love last week, or 2 weeks ago, And I forgot something awesomely huge that happened. So, first off, about every other week, I have been able to meet up with Robyn and Mary from the Cherry Pearls podcast. They are also here in the New Orleans area. They are the reason that I started podcasting. They are the first podcast that I found. I actually had Googled how to dye yarn and looked for yarn dyers in Louisiana, and Robyn popped up, and then she had a podcast, and then down the rabbit hole I went. So I'm super excited that I've been able to go and meet those two awesome ladies out usually twice a month, and we have been joined by Rick of Whimsy Stitches, who is also in our area. He is a maker. He is a bag. He does project bags, and they are awesome. He and Robyn just did a fantastic New Orleans collaboration where he did the bag and she did the yarn, and it was all Mardi Gras, New Orleans themed. They were really fun. So Rick has been joining us, and he has been my little Obi-Wan mentor. I've been picking his brain about all things bags and fabrics and stuff like that. So he's been very kind and very open and sharing with me. So I appreciate that, Rick, a lot. So we have been able to do that. Like I said, twice a month or so, like every other week, we get together and just knit. We just sit and knit until the timer goes off and it's time to go, and we're all bummed, and then we do it again. But I was contacted by Jenny from the Lucky Jenny Knits podcast. She had got together a group with Sheelen of the Sheelen podcast. It was Jenn and Candy from Pause for Stitches and myself. And we had a virtual knit night. We used the Google Hangouts app. It was really easy. It was fun. It does get a little hard to hear everybody because we are some boisterous ladies. But we had a little test, just kind of a test it out, see how this works. And it was really fun. I think we were on for about 2 hours. We did show off all of our knitting. We did have to talk about all of the dogs because everyone has dogs except for me. But hopefully we'll be adding a dog sometime this year to our family, and then I will not be the only one out. And that was so much fun. We're very silly. I think it's one of those what happens on the knit night stays on the knit night type things. And then we had 2 other lovely ladies join us, which I had not watched their podcasts at all yet, and I had heard about them through Jenny. And it is Lacey from the Knitted Cupcake podcast, and Lacey is out of Washington. And it was Sarah from the Hooks and Books podcast, and she is out of Iowa. And these girls are fantastic. Sarah is also married with kids and a family, and she does have a dog. And she is like her name, Hooks and Books, she's a crocheter. She has learned to knit, and she is knitting all of the things. She is an amazing crocheter. She's doing very detailed work. I think I watched I watched a few of her episodes, but I went back to her first one. And she showed off a purse that she crocheted, and it is cabled. And the stitch definition is amazing, and it looks like something you could just buy right off the shelf. It was gorgeous. So I'm really excited to get to know her and have another crocheter in arms that's learning to get back in. I think she learned to knit, but I'm getting back into the knitting, and we're kind of both, I think, in the same place on that level, and that was really awesome. Lacey is out in Washington, and she is in, I think she just finished her schooling. She's going for her graduate or her master's degree, and she is working, Lacey, I'm going to mess this up. I think she's working at a college right now. If she's not, I'm sorry, Lacey, but she is working in the school system somewhere is what she's doing with her education, and she does not have a dog, so Lacey, but she is knitting all the things. She has, I don't know, multiple projects going. She is on top of all of the cows, and she's having a lot of fun. She's really silly and kind of reminds me of me maybe back when I was in college, except for I wasn't knitting. But just her silliness and her energy is really great. So I've enjoyed both of those ladies. I enjoyed connecting with both of those ladies, and we are still kind of talking on the side and hope to do that again. So that's been really, really great. And I want to say to anyone who's feels that they don't have a knitting community around them, that's kind of how I felt before I found the podcast. Like, I was just the lone person in Louisiana knitting by myself. I have found people here, and there are some knit nights that I could go to. Rick goes to a couple of them, and he knows of a few more. It is hard for me to just get out at night or during the day or on the weekend. You know, I have my kids and my husband travels a lot, so that wasn't always the option. But getting together with just a couple of them and going to coffee during the day while the kids are in school, that's been awesome. Awesome. And the virtual knit nights are fantastic. So if there's anyone on Instagram or in Ravelry that you like to talk to, maybe you're kind of kindred spirits and you are into the same projects, ask them if they'd like to do a virtual knit night. You can FaceTime, you could Skype. If you have a couple people, you can try the Google Hangouts. It's just the app. I think you may have to have a Google email, or maybe you can put in your telephone. But it was fun, and now I have not only the podcast community, but I have knitting groups. I have knitting groups. Or you could start your own. If you know there's a local yarn shop that you like to go to or whatever, just ask someone in there, would you like to go out to coffee sometime? And then people just join. So again, no fear, no intimidation this year. So go out and find some knitters that you can hang out with and spend some time with and be inspired, right? That's what we're all here for. The other podcast love I wanted to give out is to an audio podcast. I've been listening to this one for a long time, and I guess I didn't mention it because I just kind of felt like, it was a big one, and maybe everybody knows about it, but it is Felicia, and she is the creator and principal dyer behind Sweet Georgia Yarns, and I believe she's out of Vancouver, Canada, and I think a lot of people know about Sweet Georgia. So she has an audio podcast. She is on, I listen to the iTunes podcast channel. I think she took a little break last year because she had a baby. But she is back, and she is back in full force. And she has been doing some interviews with makers. And they're all still up there. You can go back and listen to any of them, and they're free to listen to through the iTunes. She has interviewed Emily and Alexa from Tin Can Knits. I think that was at the very end of 2016, but it's still on there. The most recent one I just listened to, she interviewed Melanie Berg. She interviewed Andrea Mowry, who did the Find Your Fade shawl, and she is also the designer behind the Ohm shawl that I'm still going to do. I haven't forgot. But I know Tin Can Knits is a huge one. They have tons of free patterns along with a lot of paid for patterns, and they're big into the sweaters that you could fit from your baby to your husband, like all the sizes in between. Melanie Berg, there was the Big Bag Bergalong that was last year, and everybody was knitting her patterns, and KT talks about her a lot too on the Inside Number 23 podcast. And I think the most recent podcast, which I haven't listened to yet, but it's on my list, she interviews Joji Locatelli. So I'm super interested. I've enjoyed every single one of these podcasts and listening to these designers and how they started knitting and what they like to knit and what fibers they like to use and where they get their inspiration from. So these are amazing, amazing interviews. Thank you so much, Felicia, for doing these. They're fantastic. I think she has been doing it for a couple years now, so there are, she's got a bank of awesome podcasts up there that you can just go and listen to. I've listened to a majority of them, and I just wanted to pass that on to you guys because that was one that I think I was kind of taking for granted that, everybody might know about this, but you might not, and there's some awesome designers on there, and she's got some other designers that I hadn't heard of, and I had to go look up and favorite on Ravelry afterwards. So that is the last of my podcast love for this episode. My last bit will be, I have some shop updates. There are bags in my shop. And I have my collaboration with Kayleen has not gone, it's happening. It's happening. It's here. She has been dyeing the yarn. We both have not been sick for a long enough period, or someone in our house has not been sick that we could get some work done. And this collaboration is coming together, and I'm hoping very soon we will put up information on when it will be up, and we are going to split it again, so you can get both of the kits from my Etsy shop, which is Sunshine and Bubblegum on Etsy, or Littlebean Crochet on Etsy. She will also have the same exact kit. We will both have 8 of them available in both of our stores. We're going to do 16 altogether. So let me show you a little bit about that. I don't have my yarn yet. It is on its way. But again, this is the fabric. These are the bags. It's got that light mint on the inside. It's got these awesome feathers with stragglers. Coral and peach and light blue and mint and kind of a goldy, it's not a metallic, but the feathers are gold, and the navy and the peach. This is so pretty. I hope I wasn't just, did you hear any of that? I was like talking into the bag. I'm sorry. But this will have a navy drawstring on it. I have to just do all the strings and put my labels in it and do all the detail work. But so these are going to be paired with a self-striping yarn that Kayleen has done. She showed them on her very last podcast, which was, she is the Little Bean and Me on YouTube, and she is Little Bean Crochet on Instagram and Etsy. So her yarn is Little Bean Loves. This is her, maybe this will be her 3rd self-striping. She's got 2 Narcissa and Bellatrix colorways, which are a 2-color stripe. I say 2-color, but there are 2 main colors with lots of interest in those colorways, so I don't think it was just a simple dip dye. This one will be a 3-color stripe, and it has kind of a coral, a bluey mint, and a navy. And they will be all the same with stripes. So she showed that off on her Instagram. It's on my Instagram, and it is on her last podcast if you want to see a little bit more about it. And she has the bags from me already. So she is just finishing up the yarn. When the yarn is dried and reskeined and mailed to me, we will get it up and out to you. So super excited about this. I have another collaboration which is waiting in the guns when this one is out. So I won't give out any spoilers yet because I want to really focus and showcase what we're doing here. So excited. So super excited to be doing that with Kayleen again. We had so much fun at Christmas, and those bags went really fast. I wish I could have gotten more fabric. We probably could have done a few more. So we have done more this time for you guys, and those will be up soon. And things that I have up in my shop right now, I have a couple more of the, this is the, we call them the Mint Tea Rose bags. This is with, I did this kit with Robyn from Teeny Button Studios. This one will not be a kit. This is just the bag, but it has the mints and peaches and corals on the bottom in the diamonds, the flowers there, and then it has little triangles on the inside of all the different coordinating colors. And this one does have like a metallic, all the gold is actually a metallic finish. These are all, this is a sock size. I think it's 9 by 10 with a 3-inch gusset there. Just, and the same with the feather bag I showed you. It's exactly the same setup. These are perfect. I can fit 100 grams of yarn in here and all my knitting things and some notions, no problem. They are not, they have no inner lining, so they're super squishy. I pop them right in my purse, I throw them in the car, I throw them in another bag. I've been enjoying them, and I hope that you guys will enjoy them too. So we have the Mint Tea Rose. I have this other super beautiful, it's a very pale powder blue with these soft rosy pinks and whites, and there's a very light gray with a beautiful matching pink on the inside with a polka dot and the drawstring. And again, these are all 3-inch gussets. So I have a couple of those up in the shop. I have a couple of the bright pears which are super cheerful, and these are more teals and lime greens, and there's some chocolate brown in there on the outline of the pears, and some hot fuchsia. Has a super hot polka dot inside. Box corners again. So I have a couple pairs, and then I have, at the moment, I have one more of my medium bags, which is pretty big. I'm trying to remember, it's like 12 by 14 maybe, or 10 and a half by 14. Pretty big. It's got a really sweet little hummingbird on it, and it's kind of like in the garden, and there's a little bluebird. This one has a 4-inch gusset. It's a little bit wider. You could very easily fit 2, maybe more skeins in here, so this would be great for a shawl. It has the green polka dots on the inside. I do want to do a few more medium bags, but at the moment that's the only medium-sized bag that's in the shop at the moment. But I will be having more because a lot of people like to do bigger projects, and I have a shawl, so I'm going to have to make myself one. So that'll be coming up. But that's what I have for now. I will keep you informed on Instagram, and it's probably the best place if you're interested in the feather bags with the shelf striping yarn from Kayleen. Instagram will probably be where we announce that it is going up. I would look for it in the next week or so for a release date, and we will get those out. And hopefully Kayleen might also podcast again before me. She usually podcasts weekly, where I am bi-weekly, so she may have more information on them too coming up. But they will be released on the same date, the same amount of bags in each shop, and yeah. So thank you all so very much. I'm so glad that everybody's doing better here health-wise. I hope you are all doing better health-wise. I know there has been some horrible just colds going around this season, and everyone's been really under the weather. And I know today's not the day to say, hey, spring is around the corner, but daylight savings was here, so I guess spring is around the corner, and even though this is a super cold week all over the country, spring will be here soon, everybody. So have an awesome week, happy crafting and making, and remember to be inspired. Bye.